Welcome to my third video blog. The paradox of race doesn't matter, and its exploitation by the state, political parties, religions and individuals to claim a spurious moral superiority for themselves, the power, political and other advantages that go with it. Whether or not race and ethnicity matter depends very much on social context. The paradox arises from the state conflating and confounding three very different aspects of the original tribal environment in which human nature, our emotions, motivations, behaviour patterns, etc., evolved long before the advent of civilization. The modern state deceitfully poses as our tribe or nation, representing our intra and inter-tribal environment or social context, while at the same time facilitating society's self-exploitation, even to the extent of its own self-betrayal, as an extra-tribal environment. But more about this in a subsequent blog on the perverted Darwinian nature of civilization. At the level of personal encounters and relationships, race and ethnic origins matter little, because we are naturally inclined, genetically and socially conditioned, to ignore or play down any differences, not just racial and ethnic, with the potential to cause offence, disharmony or conflict. Normally, we want or are required to get on with others and to avoid potential sources of conflict. Also, once you get to know someone personally, it's their individual character that predominates over any other differences, whether relating to race, ethnic origins, opinions, political ideology, religion, or whatever, which, if you like them, disappear, hopefully, or tend to disappear into the background, as we avoid, largely subconsciously, allowing them to become a problem. Although, with close friends and family, we may allow or even provoke such conflicts, perhaps for the sake of wanting to be honest, on the assumption, sometimes mistaken, that the relationship is protected by deep mutual affection. Character, it seems, is not determined by race. I know from experience with my own race that there are some very nice characters and some very nasty ones, and a whole spectrum of characters in between. And it is the same, I assume, with all races, whereby every individual has nice and nasty sides to them, something I know from very personal experience, which manifest according to circumstances and the level of control the individual has over them. Thus, I agree with Martin Luther King when he famously said that an individual should be judged not by the colour of their skin, i.e. by their race or ethnicity, but by the content of their character. But how many people can we get to know well enough to judge their character? Not many. The vast majority will always be strangers to us. And one of the very first things we notice about a stranger is their race or ethnicity. This is because, from a human evolutionary, i.e. Darwinian perspective, race and ethnicity provide an immediate indication of whether a stranger belongs to one's own or to a closely related tribe, with which, under the conditions in which human nature evolved, one would have had a known relationship, or whether they belong to an unknown and unrelated tribe, to which one's relationship is unknown and potentially, originally, almost certainly, hostile, with the stranger having no business being in or near one's own territory. Thus, the dictum of not judging an individual by the colour of their skin, i.e. by race or ethnicity, while coming relatively naturally to us at the personal level, once you've got to know someone, does not come naturally when dealing with strangers, especially large numbers of strangers, On the contrary, in such circumstances, race and ethnicity are the natural criteria for judging, not individual character, but whether someone belongs to one's own tribe or nation. Originally understood to be an association of closely related tribes, something very different from the modern multi-ethnic pseudo-nation state. The word ethnic is derived from Greek ethnos, meaning a people or a nation, which makes the very notion of multi-ethnic nationhood an oxymoronic absurdity. This, however, is currently being imposed on us, or, depending on how you look at it, we are imposing on ourselves, for ideological and power political reasons of state. Race and ethnic origins form the natural basis of any deep and meaningful sense of both personal and group, especially national identity, which the mercenary multi-ethnic state seeks to deny us by demonizing and suppressing it as racist. It is high time that we challenge the state on this issue, facing down its predictable, power political but nonsensical accusations of racism, but peacefully and with respect for the law and for others, especially when they are of different race or ethnicity to ourselves.